Alright guys, we are live to discuss about the matches. So today we'll be starting with the first match we have here is Japan versus Croatia and Brazil versus South Korea. So let's start with the first match we got here is Croatia versus Japan. I gotta say, when I saw the starting lineups for both teams, I was very interested to see how Japan would do in this game. Because for me, guys, in my opinion, this is the most balanced round of 16 match there was in the round of 16. Obviously, we'll see what tomorrow brings, but I do believe that this was the closest match we have, Japan and Croatia, because both of the sides have very technical based players, and both teams are very they don't really score a lot of goals, right? And I think for this game, what it came down to is the game of management. I think you can see how Croatia started off the game in a better foot, start off the game by creating more chances. But as the game wore on, Japan started to get in control of the game. And remember, Japan were able to beat both Spain and Germany coming from behind, right? So Croatia tried to do the same thing there too. And for the most part, Japan were great in the game. There was a big chance that Kamada should have scored. I don't know how he didn't score that; it just went wide. And then that first goal, what a corner that was! What a corner that was! Nice routine there, and it's a great delivery from the box. You have to give credit, and Maeda scoring the first goal of the game, huge goal in the game. And from that point on, I was thinking to myself at halftime, is that how would Japan fare? Because Japan they haven't taken the lead in any of the first half games so far, right? And I just feel as though that Japan, they need to understand how like it would be interesting to see how Japan would do in the second half. And I just think that for me, Croatia started the second half brightly. They started off the second half brightly with getting a great assist from Dejan Lovren, and great assist from Ivan Perisic, who heads it in to make it 1-1. And you guys can see the image right here. And I think for Japan, the first half, they were very defensive. And I think that was pretty much my big issue with Japan, is that defensively, they were not very good. They were too defense-minded. And then from the second half onwards, man, it was really all Croatia. Croatia were just creating chance after chance after chance. Gonda made a lot of good saves. I remember one save he made on Luka Modric. That was a really good effort there. And he made some big saves in this game, big saves. And, in the second half, what goes on, I was really surprised that Zlatko Dalic brought on Budimir, who I thought was a really bad idea. I don't know why Budimir came on. It was so bad that he even came off. Then Kramaric came off. Then Perisic came off. Even Modric came off in extra time, and even Kovacic as well. And I'm thinking to myself, what is Dalic doing with the substitutions? He brought in the likes of Budimir, Pasalic, Vlasic, Mehir, Lavia, Orsic, and it just was really odd he was making those changes. And I think you could see how Croatia was really missing the presence of Josip Stanisic and Borna Sosa. Sosa just brings us so much presence to this team, and he's out with a few days. And you can see how Barisic wasn't really that great on the day. He was okay, but wasn't that great. And, Sosa brings so much more attack mindedness. And as for Japan, they made those substitutions. They eventually did bring on Asano, who came on. And they also brought in Mitoma, who also had a decent game. Sake and Minamino and Tanaka. And I think for Japan, what I'm wondering is with Moriyasu is that why does he keep benching Mitoma? Why don't you start him in this kind of game? Especially since it's a knockout game, right? And I know Maeda scored the goal, but I really do feel Mitoma is so much better player than he is. And once again, why is Minamino not starting and Asanjo? And the game goes on. We eventually go to penalties. And it was going to be interesting to see how Japan and Croatia would do. Japan got the first penalty. Japan took the first penalty. It was saved by Minamino. And I don't know about you guys, but why does Minamino keep missing his penalties? It's ridiculous. Minamino always keep missing his penalties, and it was a terrible penalty. Goes to the right. The keeper barely even have to move, and it is 0-0. Then the penalty was taken by Croatia. Upstep Vlasic, he scores his penalty confidently. Now, I'd say Mitoma's penalty was really good. I think Mitoma's penalty was great. It was just a great save from Levakovic. And then Brozovic scored his penalty. Now, Asano did score his penalty to give Japan some life. Lavea actually missed his penalty. It actually hit the post. And Yoshida's got his penalty saved. And the Pasalic scored the decisive pen to make it 3-1. And Croatia move on to the quarterfinals of the World Cup, guys. So, I think for Japan, man, I think they needed to I think they needed to score more goals, and I think that's been their biggest letdown, is that they allowed Croatia to get back into the game. And I think for them to score first was actually more of a what's the word calling it? I think it was actually more of a curse than a blessing, because they haven't really been in a position where they've taken the lead in the first time, and I think that caught them off guard and everything like that. And I think Croatia were able to fully have the ammunition on their side, and we know that Croatia is a comeback team. You know, they made several comebacks to 2018 World Cup. You know, against England, against Russia, and against Denmark. But then obviously in this World Cup, they made a comeback against Canada, and you have to give credit to Croatia's defense. I thought who's the guy? Vardiol had an excellent game in the back. I think he was honestly the best Croatian player on the day defensively. I thought he was excellent. Lovren was also good too. I thought Brozovic, Kovacic was good. I think for Modric, he didn't really have that great of a game, if I'm being honest with you. I think he was okay. I'm not going to say he was terrible, but he was definitely underwhelming. Kramaric once again was underwhelming, and Petkovic, you know. And I think for Croatia, man, this is a huge, huge win for them. And now they'll be playing Brazil, which we'll speak about them in a bit. And as for Japan, man, I just think that for me, Tomiyasu wasn't that great on the day. I thought Tomiyasu made a lot of misplaced passes. I thought Daichi Kamada was poor on the day. Obviously, Maeda was good. I think Don was decent as well. Endo and Taraguchi and Tomiyasu and Ito and Nagatomo and Gonda. I just think for Japan, man, this is devastating. They were so close to quarterfinals yet again, and they just missed out, you know. And this is the second time they lost on penalty shootouts. Last time was in 2010 when they lost to Paraguay on penalties. So heartbreaking for the Japanese. And I'm thinking 4 years' time. Let's see what they do in 4 years' time. I hope they can make a quarterfinal appearance. All right, now let's talk about Brazil, South Korea. Brazil, man. Joga Benito, man. Joga Benito. Brazil, man. They were so extraordinary today. They destroyed South Korea. This game could have honestly been a tennis score. We could have seen this game be like 5 or 6 or even 7. Brazil were just way too good for South Korea on the day. I think Brazil were just way too good. The opening goal was scored by Vinicius Jr. Lovely, lovely play from Rafinha there on the right flank. And even though Neymar was present there, he didn't touch the ball, but I think his presence was very important because if Neymar wasn't there, the defenders weren't able to, track him. It's a great, great finish for Vinicius. Great, beautiful finish to make it 1-0. And you can see them dancing on the sidelines. And I love how they dance, man. We need to see more players do this, man. We need to see more players actually do this dancing celebration because it's actually very fun and energetic, you know. And then the second goal was scored by Neymar. That was a penalty, which I thought was a bit harsh. I don't think that penalty should have been given. But it is what it is. You know, Neymar steps up and he scores his penalty with a stutter. That's always what he does. And then the third goal was scored by Richarlison. It was a great, great link-up play there, which I believe was with who got the assist for that goal. I forgot. It was a really good team play goal. That goal, I believe. Let me see who it was. I think is it Casemiro? Let me check real quick. No. It was actually Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva played a nice through ball for Richarlison, and Richarlison made it 3-0. And yeah, I mean it was just crazy, man. Richarlison, man, makes it 3-0. And then the fourth goal was scored by Lucas Paqueta. Vinicius Jr. plays a nice through ball for Paqueta to make it 4-0. And then even Brazil even had another chance, I believe, right at the end of the first half. I think Paqueta almost scored again. And Brazil were just way too good. And the second half, Brazil kind of eased off. They made their changes. They brought in Dani Alves. They brought in Bremer. They brought in Martinelli. South Korea did get a late consolation goal with Sing Hoo Pike scoring a wonder goal. Alisson did have to make some few saves, notably on Son Heung-min early after they made it 2-0. Weverton came on, and even Rodrigo came on. So I think for Brazil, man, this is a huge, huge win for them. As for South Korea, they just couldn't do it. You have to give credit to the goalkeeper, Sing Jo Kim. He was great on the day. He made 5 saves in the day. Excellent as well. You can't really blame him for any of the goals. I thought Son was good today, even though he didn't score. He had that good shot. Obviously, Pai came in off the bench, did get a consolation goal. And I think for South Korea, man, this was a way too big of a task. It was always going to be difficult to play against Brazil. And obviously, Kim MJ actually did play this game. He had a good presence defensively. And I just think that for Brazil, man, they're just way too good. I mean, Vinicius, Neymar, Richarlison, Paqueta, Rafinha, Thiago Silva, and Alisson, man, he had to make some few saves. And you could see how good Alisson was in the day because Alisson made a lot of good saves. And if Alisson wasn't that good, who knows? South Korea maybe could have gotten back in the game. But, obviously we don't know to this day. And I think for South Korea, man, what they have to look at is they can feel proud of themselves. I think for them to reach the round of 16 unexpectedly and against the odds was very, very impressive. And I don't think they made the round of 16 ever since they made that crazy run in 2002. Or they might have done 2010. Actually, I think they might have done 2010. I think they might have done 2010, actually. But it was always going to be a difficult task to get past Brazil, and we know Brazil were one of the World Cup favorites. So, huge win for Brazil. Let's see what they could do from now. Their next game is against Croatia, which should be a really interesting game, especially in the midfield of Brozovic and Modric versus Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro. What a battle that's going to be. So, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If there's any major talking points I missed in the game, there probably is. And yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.